Hello all, welcome to part 4 of the FRC Programming Guide. Today we'll be reviewing functions. So as always, here's our reference website. Feel free to scan the QR code or use the link to learn more about programming. So what is a function? So a function is a block of code that would perform a specific task. So basically, when you write code, you write a bunch of different methods and then you call these methods to do something like make a robot drive. But let's say I want to make my robot drive elsewhere in the code. I don't want to re-copy and paste all that code, right? So instead of re-copying and pasting all that code, I can just group all that code inside of one singular method, which I'd call the function. So you can see here, instead of just typing system.out.println hello, I can put that inside of a function called printHello and then call it. Now you might say, why would I do this? But because if I want this function to run multiple methods, instead of copy pasting every single one of those methods every time I want to run that block of code, all I have to do is call the function once, and it does the same thing. Yeah, it makes your code a lot more readable and also reduces the amount of code you have to retype and recopy. So arguments change the behavior of a function. You pass these arguments into the function, and based on what arguments the function is provided with, the function will do something different. So you can see here, the print hello will need an argument, which is a string, and it takes that argument, and depending on what this name is, it's going to print something different. You can see here, whatever I pass in here, like Matt, for example, it'll type out the dashes, and it'll say hello, Matt, and then with an exclamation mark, and then more dashes. If I pass in something like Bob, it would print hello, Bob instead. So return types. Our functions so far that we've created are void, right? And void functions don't return anything. They just do something. But sometimes you want your function to return to you something. So that brings us to return types. You can see this function has an int return type, meaning that it's going to return an int. You can see that it returns the number multiplied by itself, which is also an int. But void, this method doesn't actually do anything. All it does is execute. It doesn't actually return anything. All it does is execute. So you can see we have created functions, and functions are just blocks of code that you can call repeatedly to reduce the amount of code you have to copy and increase readability. These functions can take in arguments which change its behavior depending on what's provided, and we can define a return type for the function, which is the type of value that the function will return. Thank you for listening.